Hello, everyone. Good afternoon to you. You're welcome to She Talk with me, Hadiza Patrick Otara. Thank you for joining me on this wonderful day. It's a beautiful Wednesday in our beautiful city of Abuja. How are you doing? How is your day going? How is life treating you? I hope you're good. I hope that you are trying to live your very best. First month of the second quarter is as good as done. We thank God to be here. Okay, so thank you for joining me on She Talk. And today's topic, I am going to start is like a three. I don't know if this get to four, but it's like a three-part series. I will break it in between to do other topics, but until I get people to like come in the show and talk about some of the things that I'm going to be talking about. So I would invite you to please join me. If you know someone who suffered from bestie turned enemy, let's have the conversation. I'm hoping that this is not just another magazine show talk about what people did or didn't do to you or you did to someone else. This particular show is to help people overcome. So I'm busy thinking about when I'm going to do it. I was, as usual, when I see a very popular story or story gone viral, I do my investigations first before I talk because I like to give you background. We don't like research. We just like the villain being a villain and somebody is suffering. That's the way we like the storylines always in Nigeria. We never really look at the bigger picture. We never really look at people who are affected, how it came what it is. And I'm trying my best to not be that. Number one. Number two, I would not, if you're expecting this show to be something I'm going to bring down a woman, I'm not going to do that. I'm here to help people heal. I'm here to help enlighten people, help them see the way out. We are in a society where everything spells doom, everything is waste, everything is gone. But I want to be able to say to you, there's healing, there's empowerment, there's something for you at the end of the day. So let me tell you the gist in case you do not know what's been happening. So two ladies and a gentleman in this. I'm not going to call him a gentleman. Okay, so and a man in this mix-up. So two ladies, very beautiful ladies. Sure, when I saw the pictures, I was like, this is a lie. you know. So these ladies are besties, been besties for years, travel together. And if you have those kind of besties, you're going to have the kind of person, you're going to have people who are going to who you trust information, who you may talk about your husband. You will say something like, Oga, don't come with Wala. I don't even know what to do with this man self, this kind of things. And you talk about whatever it is that's bugging you. So these ladies were those kinds of besties. They traveled together, they did things together, they shared information between themselves. One is a single person, and the other person is a married person. So, and what puzzled me really about this issue is the fact that let me put that out there, was the fact that the husband and the woman keep doing prayers. You see, that's why I no longer do the religion we practice here in Nigeria. I don't do it anymore. Where people are saying glory be to God one side of their mouth and the other side is saying, I curse you. It's not going to work. It's not going to work at all. So you see these two persons praying for each other in their text messages as a husband and the bestie. Okay, I'm running ahead of myself. This story is like big. Okay, so this lady has a bestie. They're very tight. They're bestie in the sense that they travel together. She comes to the house anytime. As in, if you went to know where the other is, you just knew where this person was. Only for her to find out that all this while she was doing bestie, running to her bestie to say, see what my husband did, or I beg this man, or see when you go, just let's tell him this. She was talking to her enemy because the other woman is the other woman every woman have always feared to have in her husband's life. The woman who is as good as being a wife. Let me tell you, if you don't know, in case you don't know, most married women are not afraid of the ones that collect something here, come on, I say, uncle, daddy, and then they get rent or they get pocket money or they, understand, or even have sex with him. Most married women are not afraid of that. What a married woman is afraid of is having a woman who is as a wife, but not living under the same roof. Same privileges, opportunities, same emotional level of involvement. If we're so, you see a lot of women running on the street chasing, where is my husband? What are you doing? What true. If I'm lying, say so. Say so. You see them in your worship places, you see them in his office, you see them, you can tell they're swamping over him, they're looking for the next person to pay their cable, their this, that, and he's available and he's feeling like, oh, everybody's swamping over him. And but once there's that particular one who he gives you 50-50 attention, and you know it, that's when you know the marriage is over, really. For most women, they might fight it, but a lot of women, that is when they know it's dead. And if they don't react immediately, you know that they're planning your exit as a man, or they're planning their exit, and they're going to do it in a way it's going to hurt you for the rest of your life. So let's put that out there. So that woman was that 50-50. But the painful part was that she wasn't an invincible woman. She wasn't a woman who was out of the picture of their life. She was a woman who knew everything about them. She knew when the husband bought her things. She knew when her husband quarreled with her. She knew everything. She knew two sides of the stories, and she chose which one she wanted to flame up and which one she wanted to cool down. She had control over everything that concerned them. In fact, she could determine if the husband did the wife right or wrong because she had some certain power. And I think that's the height of betrayal. I think that's the height of betrayal. She could have taken the lady's job. She could have taken her car, stolen her money. It wouldn't have hurt as much as this betrayal, because it was the case of the person who I run to share my intimate things goes to at the back and says, "Oh, Madame says," or this, she said, blah blah. He said, "Don't mind her. It's like this, it's like that." He said, now she says, "Okay, do like this with her and do like that with her." You know how she is. She does like this. So it's almost like you were sleeping with a cobra in your bed, and you were thinking it was just your baby or something. It's really it's a very hurtful place to be as a woman. So that's the situation with these two ladies. So her friend now finds these messages on the phone and realized that all this while she was thinking she was discussing with her best friend, she was actually discussing with her enemy. So what do you do? So like I told you, I'm not here to talk about these ladies. I'm not here to pull down any lady. I'm not here to, for the lady who is the wife and happens to have had this woman in her life, it's really sad. And it may look so unique, but some last year there was a story like that. This one was a sister. A sister was living in a house with a family, and she and her husband carried on a relationship. I know how sisters are. You come and share with your sister what's going on, or if you have misunderstanding or whatever. And the husband was equally treating the sister very, very well. It was that he had two wives in the same house. We've heard a story of a woman who went for Omugwo and with her to her daughter's house and ended up being the side chick to her daughter's husband. So is this the first time a woman is jumping into another woman's situation? And in this case, this is not blood, so I wouldn't say it's the most painful. So if it was blood, it's even more painful. But in this situation, this woman came into her life as her best friend, takes over her husband, and decides to be prayer partner, counselor, and friend. In fact, it was so bad that the man was trying to tell her who to hug with. Tells her, when you take pictures with men like this and they touch you, it's very disrespectful. I don't like it. I've told you, bring down that picture. And he goes on to say, I don't know why you are doing this. It's hurtful to me. It was, let me tell you, all the while I read all those things, believe you me, it didn't hurt as much as when I saw that he had a possessive relationship over her, to a point that a colleague of hers, whether it's in the movie, I think she's in one of the social circles of celebrities or something, hugged her, stood behind to hug her. He had an opinion about it. He was bitter about it and he wanted it to stop. When I was on radio nights, when I was doing a night show on radio, I had talked about women, being cautious of women. So some people would say, I don't like people who are finer than myself. They will snatch my husband, husband slimmer than myself. If you saw the picture of these two women, the only reason why the side chick, best friend, enemy looked beautiful was because she wore makeup. But the wife looked prestiged. She looked like rich man's wife. She looked exquisite. She looked expensive. She had a banging body. This other person looked so. Back to what I usually say: when you marry a dog, you've married a dog. Don't forget that. So if you marry a man who is going after anything is skirt, you go after your house help, you go after mechanic, anything, you would go after it. So it didn't have anything to do with their body or anything like that. It was a lady who just saw an opportunity and she leashed onto it. And a man who has no self-control, no self-respect, no respect for any woman for that matter, or in fact his wife who he had vows with, and children, 4 children, I hear be 6. So what happens to you when that happens? And when it happens, people usually say, the first advice people tell you is that don't react. People tell you don't react. People tell you don't get carried away with it. People tell you all kinds of things. People seem to think that you shouldn't. I don't know if it's have an opinion or something, but people just seem to think that you shouldn't. You should just walk away. You should, you should, go fight the woman, go deal with the woman. It's always about going to fight the other person. First and foremost, in this story, for me, she's just one less friend, and an enemy found out, a snake found out. For me, this man is worth divorcing. Yes. Even if she did juju for him, I don't care what it is that she, because I would never be able to get over that, to be very honest. It's worth divorcing. But should you want to have a reconciliation, I would first ask for a separation and for you to go through your therapy. You go get healing, you go get your help. So assuming you are just a single girl and you have a boyfriend, and your bestie decides to snatch your boyfriend, or not snatch, date your boyfriend, what are you going to do about it? I would say the same thing. The relationship goes. The man can say, all those years you're going to let this girl break us up. She did not break them up. The man broke up the family, broke up the relationship. You're going to be in a situation where it is not about a man. Your best friend would actually take your information, whatever you've said to them, whatever you've confided in them, whatever you have shared with them, and they would go ahead to tell someone else. Maybe another friend, both of you just know. Now, there's a bestie confidentiality clause, and then there's other people confidentiality clause, which is the best friends clause, is that whatever we discuss together stays together, and I tell you everything, or almost everything. You know where the dead bodies are buried, basically. What it means that you know what is going on. You know what I don't like, what I like, who I hate. If I'm going to backbite my husband, is going to be with you. If I'm going to say something about another friend of ours, going to be with you, and he stays with us, and we share a sign. When someone does something, we look at each other. It shows a certain understanding of what we're talking about. Now, for the friend, we talk about every other person, but we don't talk about bestie. We don't talk about husband. We don't share basic information. So when that best friend takes the information and goes to the friend or takes it to another person, that is where there's a problem. So your best friend can turn enemy at you, and it's not necessarily with your husband. So just in case you think this is a show for just husbands and wives, it's also where a friend decides to become your enemy and takes every information. There was a story years ago about this lady who they were in the same office, were best friends. They got into civil service the same year, same day, everything. Did the documentation and everything they needed to do together, and so they were termed besties in the office. Everywhere, where's your bestie? Where's your twin? Where's your this? Where's your that? And they had worked together. But you see, the problem had always been that um, the one of the bestie was envious of the other person. So it came time when their immediate boss needed somebody to serve with them in the office as a personal aide or someone to work right directly with them. One bestie goes, excuse me, one bestie goes to the boss and spills the beans and says, "Boss, you know this is what this person said about you. This is what this person said about you. This what this what this what this what." And so this other person, instead of getting them, and she was the right person to fill into that space. And instead of getting to that place, in fact, she went to confide this her friend. Boss called me and told me that we're going to do this, that. He's going to make me his so and so. And I'm so happy. I'm going to work with him. Don't worry, I will help you when this contract come. I'll call you when this happens. You'll be in charge. Blah blah blah. You'll be always in the office. So please, blah blah blah. She tells her everything. And his best friend takes every information that they had discussed about their boss prior to this, and whatever he had discussed with this lady, and she tells the boss, and the boss says, "Okay, you know what? She doesn't get the position. You get the position." And this one, instead of even staying in the same office, she was moved to another place far away because now the boss is pretty upset. So you see, that was the best friend situation also, where betrayal was done, where a best friend becomes an enemy. There are people who you've lived with years. You go into each other's apartments, you live together, you communicate together, and you see yourself even as sisters. And then you would hear that this person takes the information they know about you just so they gain favor with your boss, with your pastor, with your husband, with anybody. Have you not heard of siblings who have done that? That they know so much about their relation. In fact, one marriage actually crashed because once one this lady was married to this guy who was abroad. Well, they had been in Nigeria for a while, and then he moved out of the country. And so while he was gone, he had to stay there, I think 3 years or so before he could get citizenship, come back, get a wife. But they were communicating as best as he could. And so this lady would tell her best friend everything. Got to a point, one person was trying to toast her, and she told her best friend, said, "This is very tempting, not having a husband. Kai, this, I feel this, I want this, that. I feel like falling different to her. If I was the one, I would go ahead and do it. After I'll clean my mouth, nothing will happen." Say, I can't do. So she goes on a date with this person who was trying to ask her out, and they eat. She comes back home. She comes back, and her luck was that a neighbor was out, an elderly person. They stood outside, they gisted for a while, and then she went into her house, not knowing that her friend had timed her coming back, called her at the time she was stepping into her house. This is like 2, 3 hours after she had come back, but she stayed with a neighbor downstairs and they had discussed. And then she comes in and she calls her. I say, "Oh, yes, I'm just coming in. No, my sister, she didn't think to say, oh, I was talking with somebody else." I said, "Oh, I'm just coming in. No, there, very delicious meal, very nice. Meals people spent." I was like, my dear, other things I would gist you. Apparently, her friend had recorded that conversation and sent it to this husband. So husband comes back. He's already coming back fuming. They already started a relationship with this other person. So you see, betrayal is everywhere. Besties do betray people, but what do you do when that happens to you? What do you do? The first thing I'm going to tell you to do is this is not a time to counter accuse anybody or look for who is at fault. You have evidence, you've got evidence, you need to sit back. You need to sit back and not think that the world is made up of this disturbing human being. Oh, apparently I had more light. Life is not made up of this disturbing human being you've just had this experience with. Is not made up of this betraying people or people who don't understand what you're going through. Life is not about them at all. Life is not about them. You know, life is not about the man or the circumstance, because I'm trying to move away from just it being about girls fighting girls. I want it to be about you understanding that it can be more than that. It can be much more than that. It can be much more than that. It can be about a man who is your bestie who betrays you. Can be about your sister betraying, your mother betraying, your father betraying you. You've heard the stories. What do you do? How do you come out of that place? How do you overcome? How do you start to trust again? Let me tell you, unless that person wasn't your best friend, it's going to actually take a whole lot of willpower for you to determine that you're going to make friends again, start again, give someone the new information about you, and so on and so forth. It's going to take a whole lot. It, I had a betrayal years ago. It took me 7 years to have someone that would call best friend to talk to, because I do counseling. So you, as counselors, we actually need someone to go and offload. You actually need someone you need to go to offload. I didn't have anyone. I really suffered mentally. I had friends, but I couldn't tell them more than nitty gritties and all that. As much as I try to be, I am an open book as best as I can. I'm really honest about things that happen to me and circumstances. I'm really honest about it, because I hate to think that there's second information somewhere. But there's some in-depth things that you won't talk to someone. I didn't have that kind of person. One day I was sitting down and I said to myself, you have friends, you smile to everybody, but you don't have someone to confide in. I said, well, I don't have, and in fact, I think I'm done. I'll just talk to my husband, I talk to my kids and everything. And then I realized that if they were all gone, then what? We're social human beings. And the first thing you're going to tell yourself is, this is the reality of life. The betrayal is the reality of life. Betrayal is reality. People betray us, look forward to betraying us, look to betray us. We look to betray other people. Nobody is perfect. We betray other people. We do it. We do it. We do it. I have done it before. Honestly. There's a but I'm not going to every time I say the but, I go like, no. And it wasn't like I took someone's friends. It was just that I said something about a friend of mine who considered me a best friend. In fact, she considered me, we considered each other as sisters. And as much as there was a but, I shouldn't have excused myself with a but. A but is what kills the whole friendship, everything. It kills everything. If you're going to love a friend, you're going to love them absolutely 100% without a but. No questions asked. Nobody's tying your rope to be a best friend. So if you're going to love people, no but. And so I never talk about my but. I did it and it was wrong. It was wrong. Absolutely wrong. So where do you start from? You start from a place of just realizing that betrayal is something is as normal as giving birth, is as normal as breathing. Betrayals exist every day. If only you knew how many people have betrayed you, if only you knew how many people have talked about you in a way that you've missed opportunities and chances, you would not be worried about this best friend who has done this to you. First, you need to do is to guard your heart. Guard your heart against bitterness. If it's a husband situation and you're willing to talk about it, first go for your therapy. Do not go for couples counseling straight up. I will not advise it. Don't wake up and say you're going for couples um, counseling at once. No, don't wake up and say you're going for therapy, both of you at once. No, you must heal first. Find a place of healing. Go away from the situation and the circumstance and the environment, whatever it is that happened. You need to go away from it. You need to move away from it. That's the first thing. But seek for help. Look for help. If you are strong enough to digest it, look at it, what happened, what went wrong. If it's too much of thought to think about it, I'm that kind of person. If I think about a situation, I probably would cry more. I would probably get angry more. So I tend to say to myself, I'm going to heal. I get a book, I write. If that situation made you feel bad, made you feel bad is not the word, is you should feel bad. If that situation of betrayal made you feel less, write it down. Because sometimes saying it is really painful. Write it down. One day I'm going to say it, but this is why I say it. I feel small. This thing has made me feel less. This thing has made me feel this. Write it down, and then you focus now on getting out of that mind frame. The focus on getting out of a mind frame is not necessarily a place where magic happens and so you wake up, pim, you are, you've overcome the person. No, it's okay. I mean, if you have a friend and they truly betrayed you and go like, I'm not my, you were never friends with that person, because the betrayal has to take something from you, something that almost feel like someone had died. So how do you get over grief? Is just accepting the fact that betrayal is a way of life. It's not a time to sit down and say, and I did this, and I did, oh, you can do that. I think it's okay to do that. It's okay to do that. Sometimes gives you healing. It's good to do that, but don't stay in it. I find it really repulsing sometimes when you've been divorced for 5, 10 years, and when you tell the story of how it got to that point, you're still telling it like it happened yesterday. It's not good. It means that you are stuck. It means that you are not moving. If a best friend betrays you and you tell this story for more than 2 months, there's a problem. And your story needs to evolve. It's going to be like, can you imagine what Clara did to me? Clara told my husband this. Clara slept with my husband. Clara collected this. Clara did this. Clara did that. Then you go to a point of, I gave Clara all the information about my life, and Clara turned it around to hurt me. Then to a point of, I pity Clara, because this kind of person can never really truly love anybody and truly be loved, because they are inadequate of themselves, to a point of, God help Clara. That is when you know you are progressing. But I'm not going to jump you all the way to the end. Let's start from the very beginning. You have to, if you need to cry, cry. Don't let anybody make you feel like you need to be strong or anything like that. Cry, grieve is like death. So cry, grieve the loss of this person, the loss of this friendship, the loss of this confidentiality, the loss of this is the word I'm looking for. Exclusiveness, because this relationship was meant to be an exclusive thing between all of you. Faith Olaide, how are you doing? It's supposed to be an exclusive thing about all of you. It's supposed to be something that only you and that person knows. Mourn it, grieve, cry like the person had died. Cry, mourn. If you need to have a ice cream sugar day, to go do it, grieve, lock yourself up, but just remember, keep behind your mind, you're going to come out of this and you're going to make it. This is not a time to gather certain friends and hold a world conference concerning this person, because you're going to be entering frying pan to fire, believe you me. Because in the midst of telling these people, you're going to have people who are going to run over to this other friend to discuss the situation and make it even a bigger ball, or create a bigger story, and you'll be feeling more and more of the betrayal. If you're going to discuss with people, with anyone, let's be someone who probably is a third party in this situation. But if you leave it to me, talk to someone who is neutral, someone who has nothing to lose or gain in this situation. You need to talk about it. You have to talk about it. Remember, you are grieving, grieve, cry, shout, write down and stuff. But you need to talk about it. Talk about it. Accept it had happened. Accept betrayal is a way of life. It's something that happens. Accept it. You see all these people who jump from church to church and say, this church is bad, this person is this is that, because they were betrayed. That's what happens to you. I'm using that as an analogy, because if I use it for friendship, you'd be like, okay, shouldn't you have several friends? No. You see when people say, I was betrayed in this place, they told me, they said this about me, they said that about me, they said this about me. If you go to 10,000 churches, they're going to happen. Probably the mocks, I'm not certain if, or the fellowship, whatever it is, or the women's group, is still going to happen in the next group you go to. My point, stay, if this happened like in a church situation, women's group situation, sister, whatever group, stay there. Unless it was like the whole group that did this to you, but if it's just one person who did, stay there, stay there. I'd rather stay with this company who know me. If the whole group is taking sides and you are alone, that's when you leave. But stay there. Do not try to escape. We're social people. You leave one social group to another. You're going to meet another snake in that place. Another snake is waiting for you there. Another bestie turned enemy is going to be waiting right there, waiting to attack and strike you. Stay right here. You can decide, okay, best is not going to exist in this circle of persons. You need to be, I'm going to look for them outside of this circle of persons, but you can stay there. Why do I say that? I always use your workplace and your daily relationship, whether marriage or ever, to as comparison. Your workplace is actually like a marriage. In fact, a lot of people spend more time, intimate time, quality time at their workplace than they do with their relationships. So if you are in your workplace and you are betrayed in your workplace, a colleague who you trust, who you're close with, says something, or your boss says something to someone to deny you promotion, to deny you opportunities, traveling opportunities, monies, or accuses you of doing something at that work, and that work pays you, is what you were born to do. You've always liked this job. This is something you find fulfillment. Would you leave the job? Would you leave the job? You go to your worship places or fellowship, max the whole week, not more than 7 hours, at best 10 hours, apart from those of you who go for praying to kill your enemy every other day. But do you understand what I use that as to say? How many hours do you use for prayers really? You go for a fellowship 2 hours, you go to your service 2 hours, you go to something 2 hours, you go for another thing 2 hours, basically 10 hours or so. But unless you're going to prayer mountains, that's what I'm saying. You go to a prayer mountain maybe once a week. There you go to pray down rains and all that. But wherever it is, 10 hours is what you spend intimately with these people in this place. And then when you make a best friend in that circumstance, you may spend extra 2-3 hours a week with them. Maybe you go to their house, or you guys hang out somewhere, or when you come to your place of worship, you meet them before or after the meeting, and that's all. So why would someone take you out of that whole picture, or fellowship or relationship, because of that one person? Stay there. So it's the same thing. Don't decide to leave the whole estate, or to leave because this thing have happened. You stay there. The consistency of your environment is going to help you heal faster. You may see a bike and say, oh, when Angela used to come, this house used to come. Cry it until you get used to it. It's just a little mourning, a little grief you're going through, and you're going to get over it. You're going to get over it. It's going to come over. There will be days you would see it pass and it's okay. Because you know why? When people die, when we see a certain picture, we hear a certain sound, remember them and go like, oh, if Manuel was here, we cry, and then we're done. It's the same thing. It's basically the same thing. Believe you me, you would one day it will be like, oh, you never felt it. Don't leave that plaza. Don't leave that place because of this one person controlling the narrative of your life. You are leaving. No. Like I said, apart from marriage, where I think you need to take a break, either you go away or he goes away, so you can clear your mind. And it's for a short while if you're going to reconcile. But if you're not going to reconcile, then begin the plan of leaving. Do not abruptly change your life. It's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. Huge. Because you're dealing with double betrayal, and you're dealing with uprooting yourself from the familiar. It's easier for you to grieve when you walk through the house and you're climbing up the stairs. You don't think how many stairs are there, versus looking for places to do. Hi, Naomi. She says, hello, Mama. You look amazing. This akara is super beautiful. Thank you. It was a beautiful gift from my very lovely younger sister. I hope she's watching. Thank you very much. So you don't say, okay, because he has betrayed me, I've left the marriage, I've left the house. I've left. Since my friend is next door neighbor, she betrayed me, I've left the estate, I've left. You are going to be leaving the one you're going to be taking off from the one variable that is consistent in your life. So stay. If it's his house and he demands that you leave, fine, that's a different instance. You can go to like mommy's house or somewhere you are a little bit familiar with. Don't go to somewhere that is going to be a change, a huge change. Don't make a huge change out of a friend's betrayal. It's just one person out of the how many billion people in the world who betrayed. Just one person. Don't make that huge change. Don't decide, oh, I'm leaving this church. I'm leaving this mosque. I'm leaving this estate. It's too huge. It's going to make it worse. When you see people who suffer from betrayals, whether from spouse or from friends or from whoever, family members, and they yank themselves out of familiar, they suffer longer. It takes them a longer time to heal up. You're familiar, you may be walking through the streets, you got impregnated by someone and you're walking through the street. I'm hoping that someone's going to watch this some down the road and will get this help they need. And you're walking down the road, everybody's talking about you in the neighborhood. They're going to forget it. One day, the simple who your person are laughing, hey, 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 they'll be laughing. There'll be someone that say, how's Clara? How's baby this? How's baby that? How's this? How's that? And sometimes their children might even end up marrying that child. So don't worry about them. It's just you're just a temporal information for that moment. The world, it may look like even the trees are looking at you. Your dog back, you think is laughing at you. The car park, you think is laughing at you. The man selling things and his person is laughing. Two best friends are walking and laughing. You think they're laughing at you. The world may seem to be laughing at you. Social media may be carrying your story and seem to be laughing at you. Don't worry. It's just for a while. Don't go away from your familiar. It is the one consistent you want to keep in your life going on. You need to have something going on. Stay. That's my sister Aisha. So stay with your consistent. You can decide to start looking for a new house, and that will give you some distraction. But don't do it like suddenly. Don't move suddenly. Don't take yourself out suddenly. This is just the first part of this. Hello, Grace. How are you doing? This is just the first part of this discussion. I'm hoping that I'm going to bring people who have had betrayals and we'll talk about it. I'm going to bring in counselors and therapists, men and women, to talk about this. Naomi, are you game for us to talk about this? It's really important for people to know how to move on from such betrayal. It's huge. When your best friend, someone close to you, you've confided everything, that betrays you, it's like someone died. It's the same, equal level of pain and grief. It's the same. It is the same. So don't take it lightly. If you see someone who's gone through betrayal, don't take it lightly. Don't forget about them. Don't ever say that to somebody. Don't ever say that to somebody. Don't say, forget. Hear them out. When they are done, say to them, if you want to cry, you cry. What do you want to do next? Say, I don't even know. I don't even know whether I should move out. Say, don't move out. Don't move out yet. Stay. Wait. Do you want to come over to my place and sleep? Do you, if there's something you can do, say, do you want to go for ice cream? Should we do something? Do something, the weirdest thing. Don't say, let's go and eat amala or jollof rice. Is normal. Just do something, the weirdest, sweetest thing you can do to the person. But if you are the person, do something that would help you grieve, cry, write it down, but realize that betrayal is normal. Betrayal is normal. It happens. It happens. It's like death. It happens. Nothing extraordinary was done to you. And so you can't take your life because it looks like you are now, everybody's focused on you. Last week we were talking about Davido having a baby mama who is about to have a baby, or a second baby mama while he's married to Chioma and rest, and then suddenly now we're moved to these people next to be somebody else. You are suddenly aware of the world. You're suddenly aware that the trees exist, everything exists. Because now because you are in that place of shock, you are self-aware. You're conscious. You're very conscious of everything. You're conscious of the clouds. Let me tell you, when you go through a betrayal, everybody who seem happy seem to be mocking you. Everybody who seemed to be talking, people talking, seems talking about you. Suddenly you realize there's a tree in front of your house. It's the first time you realize that children pass through or in front of your house from school and they're laughing and it seems like they're mocking you. Every movie where there are two people hugging or kissing, they're mocking you. They're mocking the things that you don't have. It's just a temporal thing that you do not have. And let me tell you where I head before I bring the therapist. As a counselor, Let me tell you this. If you don't promote to get healing, you're going to lose out in the most vital thing after breathing to human beings: socialization. The best of us who are self acclaimed introverts still need friends, still need family members, still need people in our lives. So if you say, I would never trust, I'll never, check anybody who has lived that kind of life. They end up very bitter. And I know two people today who are suffering from cancer because they're bitter about something. Like, the cancer is at the worst stage, stage 4, two of them, stage 4. And when I had discussion with one of them, she was introduced to me by someone to talk to her concerning the process of the cancer, and I found out that she was grieving. She was angry at a betrayal by her husband. Very angry. She was very, very angry. I told her cancer is promoted by bad feelings. People, if I'm lying, go and check research. Scientists are still proving it. Bad feelings create cancerous sex. They promote it. We all have cancer cells in our bodies. We all have cancer cells. It's just our white blood cells fighting an enemy and coming out coming out in excess and covering an enemy, an invincible enemy, and then that now becomes an enemy in your system. Do you get? So we all have cancerous cells in our bodies. Would you let that one person be the reason why you end it all? You stop living, you stop moving, you stop one person. See, when I went through my betrayal, I'll go and say it's just one person out of 1 billion people. It's just one person. I kept saying it's just one person. It's just one person. It's just one person. Sometimes I'm crying, it's just one person. It's just one person. I would, until one day I said it's just one person. Today I'm saying it's just one person. That's one. Would you stop having besties? No. Oh, no, no way. No. Jose, no. Nope. We're social human beings. We need friends. We need best friends. We need group of friends. If you haven't heard that my video, I think we should check in my videos. You see it. I talk about friends. Have level of friends. Have best friend. You can have one best friend. You can have up to 3 best friends. 4, it becomes a crowd. But I would say 3 best friends. That's my recommendation. If you are 3 of you, fantastic. 4, good. But when you go, just have 3 extra people in your life who are besties, or have 3, or have 2, or just have this one person. But you must have that. Then you should have your very close friends. They are the ones I would say 5, 6. If I wanted to do my birthday celebration, yes, my 50th is coming in January by God's grace. If I wanted to do it, if I wanted everyone to wear a certain clothes, do I have 5 people that would say they are going to buy that Ashwebi and wear it, or they're going to buy a certain color of dresses on that day and wear it? Would I find 6 of them? These are people who would come when your husband dies. Your best friend may sleep in the house, but these people come with food every day. These are the ones that will ask you what they can do. They would come and make sure chairs are arranged. Every day they leave their work to come and make sure they're there with you. They will sleep together with your bestie. They would go with you to your village to bury your husband. If all of them can't go, they would encourage the remaining people to go with you. They would give you money to help with the burial and stuff like that. If your child is getting married, they're going to be the ones to organize. They're going to divide themselves to organizing. I should be me, I'll do this, me, I'll do that. And on that day, you see them walking up and down, trying to make sure it works for you. Yes. you know so after your 6, you must have your 12. We have an example of the 12 disciples, but I say is a necessity. 12 to 14, these are the people who you want to throw a party, surprise party, you want to do something, you call them, they turn up. Your child celebrating a party, you don't even need to think about it. You are certain that your 12, your 6, and your 1 are going to turn up, and so on and so forth. I've done that video before. So I mean, if you have that collection of friends, it's easy for someone to get removed and someone gets upgraded. You must make friends. It's important. It's the oil that keeps you going. It keeps you going. When you see old people, their husband dies, it doesn't take a while, the other person dies. They're usually very good friends, they're best friends. That's what happens when you don't have a best friend in your life. Is that something about your living begins to die. When you don't have friends in your life, something about your living begins to die. There are times I've seen friends and I haven't seen in a long while. and I see them looking older, I usually will ask them, "Are you okay?" And I'll try to find out. I try to talk for a while to find out if they have friends, if they have. And most times you find out that the husband is gone or he has left them. Children have gone off to school, no close friends. They didn't bother making friends because they've always believed people will betray, people will hurt you, people will take you advantage of you, people. It's the world we're living in. Is just a sign of the humanity that we are. That some are good and some are corrupt. And if you're unfortunate to meet the corrupt ones, they should not deter you, they should not stop you, they should not hinder you from having the best of friends any day, anytime. So let's go back to the very beginning. Should your bestie turn enemy, do me a favor. Grieve. Someone just died. Something was just taken away from you. Grieve. Allow yourself to mourn it. Allow yourself to cry about it. If you want to go away from your social circle for a while, for instance, you don't want to attend church for a bit, fine and good. You don't want to go to mosque for a bit, fine and good. You don't want to go for the social meeting, your village women's meeting, or the women's group you belong to, fine and good. But go back to your familiar. You want to leave your house for a short while, fine. Go back. I'd rather be grieving and climbing up my stairs than climbing up the stairs and trying to determine, is it the right stairs? Okay, is this where I'm going to? Too much confusion. You're going to be adding confusion to your grief. That's the reason why I'm saying stay with the familiar. So this is the part one of when the bestie turns enemy. I hope that some have motivated you to look forward to when we talk to a therapist about the steps of grief and getting over and how to deal with stuff like that. I'm trying to find healing for you. I'm trying to find a place where you can open the door once again, let someone in, open the door once more, let relationship, marriage situation come in to your life. You deserve it. You deserve it. Honestly, you do. So if you're that woman who is betraying your best friend, I'd like you to know, no matter what you do, where you go to, whatever it is that you do, you're only sowing seed and you're going to repent. That's the truth. I'm not afraid to tell you that. Truly. Oh, before I go on, I said I was going to say something. If, for instance, it was like your pastor or your imam or your father that betrays you, what do you do? So that I'm going to answer when I come back for the part two of it. Okay? Please like my videos, share, share, please. Let someone else learn, let someone else hear about it. I'm grateful for your listening and your watching. Thank you very much. I don't take it for granted. Anytime I see people of them, like, thank you very much. Please do help someone else out who is hurting today. We all need relationships, we need friends. We can't get rid of them. We can't. We cannot. I tried. I tried. It's not going to work. It's just going to take away something from you. Have a lovely Wednesday. I'll see you. Thursday. Oh my God, why am I going backward? Thursday. I'll see you tomorrow by God's grace. I have a super interesting topic for tomorrow, but it's going to be at night because it's the sex show on She Talk. See you then. Take care and God bless you. Bye.